Hi, and welcome to Goddess 1207. That's me. I'm Linda, and I so appreciate you watching. I'm sorry you have nothing better to do with your time, but I am thrilled that you would watch me. And also thank you to my new subscribers because I might get to 500. Whoop-de-doo! That would be really exciting. I thought today that we would do the Guilty Pleasures tag as started by Miss Sanni. It's 8 silly little questions, and if there's any word I love more than anything, it would be silly. So let's get started. The first question is a TV show you love but you should not confess to. Well, I have so many, I don't know where to start. I think Mr. Wonderful thinks all I do is watch TV, but really what I do is listen to TV. I hardly ever watch it. I know that's weird, isn't it? And it's funny because if you only DVR it, then the only thing you're actually watching is the commercials because you have to speed through them, but you don't have to listen. So I like to watch shows that I can just listen to while I'm doing other things. And those would include investigation shows on the investigation channel. I like to listen to how the police officers try to solve a crime, which to me is insurmountable, but they break it down into little bits and actually solve the crimes. Of course, these are just the crimes that they solve. Those are the ones they show. They're not going to show us the ones they don't solve. I also like to watch this silly sports show on ESPN called PTI, Pardon the Interruption, and it's these two silly goofy guys who have a tete-a-tete, if you will, about the current topics that they think are important. Mike Wilbon and Tony Kornheiser, and they are very funny, and they really are journalists. They're not just pretty boys, which you know if you watch the show. They're fun. And then I used to watch, remember Mystery Science Theater 3000, where they redub or talk over the conversation or the dialogue and make it silly? Love, love, love. I think silly is it. Oh, and one I'm watching right now, this I'm sure everybody already knows about, is called Blandings. It's a P.G. Woodhouse set of stories, and it stars that girl from Ab Fab. And it is so silly. It's set in rural England, I think about the 30s or maybe the 40s, and it is hilarious. So I'm all into hilarity. Question number 2. A food you eat what? Well, I grew up on anchovies. Love my anchovies on a pizza. And after that, it's probably more what I don't eat that's weird. I eat very, very little that's green. I'll eat asparagus, and I will eat green beans and avocado, but that's really a fruit, isn't it? But I really just don't like to eat green things. I know I'm totally weird. I'll eat a little lettuce, but not on a sandwich. Oh, no, no, no. That's pretty weird, huh? Okay, number 3, music I love and others just cringe at. Well, I'll have to tell you a story. I grew up listening to 40s swing music. Every Saturday morning, my mother and father would go into the living room, turn on and high five, dance. And they danced to things from the 40s. Glenn Miller, Benny Goodman, Glenn Gray, and they would dance in the living room, and I thought this is what every parent did. In fact, when I went to spend the night with my friend Sue, her parents didn't get up and dance on Saturday morning, and I thought that was pretty weird. So I loved listening to the 40s channel on Sirius XM. The other day, I found all my daddy's records, or the ones that were left, and I just found this one that I have to show you. It's called, and believe it or not, this is a real song, Wouldst Could I But Kiss Thy Hand, Oh Babe. Don't you love it? Anyway, I love music that has repetition and pattern, and if there are words, you could hear and understand the words, so I love my 40s Okay, music. Question number 4, my online beauty guilty habit. Okay, I guess my biggest guilty habit is I don't check my order. Now, I don't mean I don't check what I'm trying to buy. I don't check the order in which I'm going to buy. For example, I think what I do is buy and then research. And I'm working very hard to research first before I buy. So I don't come home with a lot of stupid products. And here's one I'm going to show you now. This is the 100% hyaluronic acid that I bought somewhere. It was $39.95. I think it came all the way from France. I'm not even going to say the name of it. You can just pretend that you speak French. You probably do. Anyway, this is supposed to be a moisturizer. So I played with it, and then my faux daughter was over, who happens to be a nurse, and she was telling me, what do you use that for? We use that in the hospital all the time, but I never thought I'd put it on my face. And so I told her it was supposed to be a moisturizer, and she said, So I tried it, and it is so thick, it is so nasty that I'm thinking, well, maybe I'll use it on my feet. I don't know, but this was a big, stupid waste. And if I could get my order right, I might do better. Question number 5 is, I love to wear, but I shouldn't. Well, I'm doing it right now. Yes, these fine earrings are big and huge, and they were all the rage in the 80s or the 90s, I don't know. They're fine jewelry made by Thomas Mann, who is in New Orleans. And one of them is Don Quixote, and the other one is Dulcinea. Is this Dulcinea? Yes, it is. And I would wear them to work, and the little children would look at me and say, what's that? And I would say, well, it was just a guy and his girlfriend. What can I say about Don Quixote? But I don't wear them anymore because they're just too big. And if you wear them too big, it just says, hey, look at my neck. And I don't think we want to be looking at my neck. So let's get rid of them. By the way, there was this thing in Dear Abby the other day about a person who was upset that the children who came over to her house didn't say please and thank you, and what should she do about it, if anything. And it just reminded me of my years as a school principal, that we had this system in place, and I required all of the children to say please and thank you. And it started with telling them that we need to say please and thank you. We need to be nice to each other, for adults as well. And so I tried to be a good role model. And eventually it got to where all I had to do was go, which meant I was waiting for the please or the thank you. And it really got to be kind of funny, because new kids would say, may I go to the bathroom, or may I break in line, or may I, throw rocks at that kid over there. And I would go and would not respond. And this kid would just stand there and look at me like, what are you, some kind of nut? Which, of course, I probably was. And so he had to wait until his friend said, she's just waiting for you to say please. And so he said, well, then may I go throw rocks at her, please? And I would say, yes, you may. Well, of course, I did say yes, you may. I say, no, you may not. But it got to be so easy, because all I had to do was this, and I was able to manage 800 kids at one point saying please and thank you. So it can be done. Don't give up on it. Okay, let's see. Number 6, movie you should not love so much, but you do. Well, the movie that I have loved so much lately that I shouldn't is called Curse of the Golden Flower. It's a movie in Chinese put out by Sony in 2005, I think. And it is Shakespearean-esque Chinese 1800s period historical drama. We got the tyranny, we got the incest, we got the murders, we got the political intrigue, we got the trying to make somebody go crazy. It's just got everything on. Plus the costumes, oh my gosh, they're so beautiful. And the people are so beautiful. I don't really understand too much of the Chinese. Thank goodness they have the subtitles, but it is a great film. It's a great film. Number 7, funny habit people comment on. Wow, there are a few. But one that people like to comment on is how I observe people when they're eating pancakes. Now, this is a little strange, but have you ever watched how people eat pancakes? You can learn a lot about a person. I totally encourage you, when you're getting to know someone new, for whatever reason, take them out for pancakes and watch them and see what you learn. For example, do they approach it totally at random, just cut, cut, eat, go? Do they slice it up and cut ahead of time in perfect little squares? How do they approach the problem of eating pancakes? Do they put a whole lot of syrup all over the top before they start? Do they do just a little syrup? You can learn a whole lot about how a person approaches a problem by how they eat their pancakes. Are they a big picture kind of problem solver, or are they a little, or are they random with their approach, or are they ordered? You can learn a lot about people by the way they eat pancakes. If it's not a pancake, you could do the same with a hamburger. Do they eat the hamburger round? I once knew a guy who would just take a bite and then he would just do it all the way around. So he ate in sort of this spiral thing. He was a weird duck. But how do you approach something that's a little bit different? Okay, I know I'm weird, but I have theories about that. I also have theories about people who dye their hair all one color, totally one color. I think they might be perfectionists. If you're one of those people, think about it. Are you a perfectionist? Want everything just exactly right. Or people that have the hair that doesn't move. If the hair ain't moving, you can probably guess that their attitudes about things aren't moving. I don't know. I probably am wrong, but I like the hair that you're not afraid to mess it up, because I'm not afraid to mess up. So that's a habit. And finally, question number 8 is a makeup look that you love, but it's just so wrong. Well, I love smoky eyes. I think smoky eyes are beautiful, but it would be wrong on me, mostly because I couldn't do it. But secondly, I would get laughed at even at the grocery store. And speaking of guilty pleasures, just one more little item. I'm starting on a new quest to make sure I wear all of the makeup that I own. You may recall I boxed everything up and put things back so I could discover something new every month. Well, I'm just almost coming to the end of that. I believe my last box to open will be in May. And so now I've decided I really need to wear what I own. So I took a few minutes of quality time and I wrote down every foundation that I owned. I wrote them all down, and I thought maybe I'd do a little comparison about them. And I have 24 at this moment foundation choices that I could wear. So then I thought, well, let's don't stop there. Let's keep going. And I wrote down the name of every eyeshadow type quad or information about it. And I have 20 different places I could go for eyeshadow look. So now let's don't stop there. I did my blush, and I had 21 days of different types of blushes that I could wear. And so I randomly assigned everybody a number, and then I put them all together, and now I have 20 days where I'm going to wear a certain foundation with a certain eye look with a certain blush, just to make sure I get through everything that I own. Not it won't be everything I own, but to at least have tried everything within that 20 days. And I'm hoping that with the notes that I take about each of the things, for example, in the foundation, I'm going to make notes to myself about does it cover my pores? Is it accessible? Does it have any SPF? Does it have a scent? Well, they're not going to have scents because I hate those. And I'm hoping at the end of my 24 days of face, I'm going to have some good notes about what I've bought that I really don't like, that really doesn't meet my needs, so that I can give it away or toss it, so that I can get down to the products that I really, really like. Because I am just as guilty as everybody else of buying things that I don't really need. I have eyeshadows that I know I'm never going to wear. I have a whole bunch of Inglot gray tones that I think are going to be terrible on me, but I'm going to try it, and we're going to see, and then I will know that I can give them away without feeling too guilty, maybe poor, but not too guilty, so that I can wear what I really like. As I keep saying, no more meh. And keep telling people they're beautiful, which, by the way, you are. Anyway, I'm rambling now, so I thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you next time. Thanks.